What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Club and Country. This is episode number 75. We started today's episode off on the back of that thrilling 3-2 victory in North London against Spurs. We came from behind twice to eventually win it for a Rabbi Matondo hat-trick with the Blades at home at Rodney Parade. December, 4 games to go until the January transfer window openings. Desperately trying to keep Liverpool from running away from us at the top of the table. As they won the championship last season, we weren't ever in a title race last season, even when there were patches where we were in great form. But this season, we're the closest threat to their crown, so I want to stay on their coattails for as long as possible. Started the game off, took the lead through Dan James, 8th in 16 for Dan James this season. 15 minutes in, taking the lead against the Blades here. I always talk about, that front three. There's always one man that doesn't seem to get the attention that the other two get, but Dan James this season's been better than last year. I think he had 10 goals all season long in the Premier League. He's already 2 away from matching that. We're not half through the season yet, so still leading by a goal. Could have gone 2-0 up, and then right before the break, the Blades would level it. I've talked about goals in late game situations as being very frequent in FIFA nowadays, but also goals towards the end of the first half. This goal came 2 minutes into added stoppage time when there was only supposed to be 1 minute added on. No qualms about the goal coming about because the danger wasn't fully clear, and therefore the referee's well within its rights to continue playing on. Don't get me wrong, but it does seem frequent. Again, goals get scored right before the end of the first half, as well as the second half as well. There's something about that. I don't know whether it's a mental thing or there is something in the game. I've talked about it before. I do believe since the late goal celebrations got added into FIFA that EA have increased the likelihood of goals getting scored late on in games, whether to showcase the new celebration features or to make the games more dramatic. I don't know. I do genuinely believe that myself, that EA have coded something in to make late goals a lot more common, because you go back in olden FIFAs, they weren't as frequent as they are now, not in my book anyway. But also for goals towards the end of the first half, they're quite common as well. So the Blades drew that game 1-1. Not exactly what we wanted, but we had quite a few fringe players out there for that game and bench players, because on the weekend we had Liverpool away at Anfield, the champions, the leaders, 5 points clear. And if we were to lose this game, we've been in inconsistent form lately, we'd see the gap get extended to 8. So I could not afford to lose this game. A draw, not a bad result. Gap stays at 5, we're away at Anfield, and we still got a reverse fixture to come in South Wales. But a win would cut it to 2. And that's why in the week against Sheffield United, the draw, I wasn't that beat up about it, because I knew that I'd have a fully fresh and fit fighting starting 11 on the weekend for Liverpool, which is of course the biggest game of the season so far. Matondo gave us the lead, then Price made a great save to keep us in front by a goal, and in 25 minutes in, the man who's so good they named him twice, Lloyd, only his 3rd of the season, but a big one as he gets our 2nd of the night to make it 2-0. Really, from the first whistle in this game, I was just really aggressive. I often talk about, mentality. When you lose a game, or you draw a game, or you slip up in a game where really you were firm favourites to win, you're expected to win, you didn't play well enough, you didn't do enough, the following game, I always go into it and I'm just like, aggressive. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not an aggressive person, man. Like, I'm a really laid back, calm, chilled person. Yeah, I want to win, I want everything, but I go into it and I'm a bit like, oh, come on, gotta make sure I make amends. And in this game, well, it's safe to say I definitely did. To be fair, what I will say is that Price on the other end made a couple of really big saves, including that one late on in the first half. What a save from that header from the corner there. But once again, it was just a case of our attacking display shining through and our attacking quality shining through. Rabbi Matondo rounding Alisson, and what a finish. This was under pressure against the Brazilian from a tight angle as well. Rabbi Matondo last year won the Golden Boot and the assist title, going for it once again. I don't know if I'll ever get him to 40 goals, but if I ever had a striker capable of doing that alongside Tony and Belbel, it's Rabbi. This guy is so lethal. But we're up by 3 at Anfield in the Northwest, absolutely dominating. But again, to be fair, what I do have to say is that on the other end, like, the scoreline, I don't think really reflected how the game went. This was so much more tougher than the scoreline suggested. We won by 3 clear goals, but Price on the other end, probably his best performance in the Newport County shirt. He made 3 brilliant saves in the game to keep his clean sheet intact and ensure we'd win the game as well. Had Price not been between the sticks there, I don't think we'd won that game. Instead, we did. Massive victory, and as you can see, 1 game before the halfway point with 5 points clear of the Red Devils. Crucially, 11 clear of Arsenal in 5th place. My mentality into the season was top 4, not win the title. So knowing we've got the double-digit separation between Arsenal in 5th is really crucial. But the gap on Liverpool cut to 2 with a game to go before the halfway point. Huge win at Anfield. Couldn't afford a loss, and instead we get a big victory. Following that, I saw before the game, Gavin Humphreys is now 91 overall. And you would notice with the development plan, as I promote Gillam, our best youth prospect here from our academy, a young striker, 61 overall, only 5'8", but got some decent stats on him. You would have noticed in the development plan for Gavin Humphreys, it's unbalanced. And obviously I don't really have that many players on balance. Matondo is also on balance now as well. And you might wonder why that is, because, development plans are in the game to lead to quicker growth from your players, right? And to capitalise on the stats which are best suited to their roles. The reason I've got it on balance is just because his growth has been so quick. And it's just been brilliant to watch. But I wanna make this guy complete, do you know what I mean? And just make him amazing in every single aspect. And that means that there will be slightly slower growth, but not much slower, based on the fact he's up 2 ratings this year to 91 overall, and we're not even in January yet. But it also means that he's going to improve in the attributes that they might not have as much of an impact on his offensive game, but to improve his defense as well, and get stats up that wouldn't be traditionally as considered as important. Making this guy complete is what I really want to do with Humphreys, because he's already one of the world's best players at 19 years old, but to turn him into the complete player in midfield, I really love the idea of that, where he's got no weaknesses whatsoever. Those players who are just like jack of all trades, can do literally anything. That is what I like to see. And I'd love to see Humphreys and Matondo become those sort of players as well. Because taking on Chelsea for our 3rd game of today's episode, Lloyd got his 2nd in 2 to give us the lead in the first half. And then in the second half, 5 minutes after the restart, well, I just mentioned the pair of them there. The dynamic duo. They're so good at their individual roles. But again, turning these guys into complete players for club and country could prove to be so crucial. Be a star in your role. I love that phrase. I love that mentality. But also focus on your weaknesses as well as improving your strengths as well. That's what I'm trying to do right now with Gavin and Rabbi, hence why they both got balanced development plans. We won the game by 2-0, so back-to-back clean sheets, back-to-back wins, and at the halfway point in the season, as you can see, the gap on Liverpool remains at 2. They've got a better goal difference record. We've conceded the fewest or joint fewest amount of goals in the Premier League. They're the top scorers of 44 in 19, but the gap is 2. We've now gone 14 points clear of Arsenal in 5th, and with Rabbi leading the way in the top scorer and assist charts as well. We know the main reason why we are where we are right now. It's actually quite interesting, but Humphreys this year, he's got six assists in 19 games. He's got a handful of goals as well, but to be fair, he's not actually been, my voice won't really hide it, he's not actually been quite as good as you'd expect for a 91 rated player. I don't really know why it is. Maybe because Matondo is just, I talk about it all the time, Humphreys is the highest rated player, he's the star, but Matondo is the best player in the team. I don't know, like Humphreys to me, he's been better with the country than he has with the club this season. But even so, they are still our best 2 players in the team, and the reason why we are where we are right now. The question for me is now, how long can we keep pace with Liverpool? Because as we know, they are currently the best team in the game in the country in the game, I should say, at the moment in time, after winning the championship last year and still being top of the table this season. It's going to be tough to stay with them. We're going to have to be really consistent and be competitive on the other 2 fronts as well, the Europa League and the FA Cup as well. But the most important thing to me is just staying clear in the top 4. If we can do that and stay in the title race for as long as possible, I won't be too disappointed if we don't end up taking Liverpool's seat on the throne. If we do have to settle for runners-up, but we qualify with the Champions League and we push Liverpool for most of the season, I'll take it, because you know how hard it is to stay with the big boys in a FIFA career mode when you're doing an RTG and you're finally, for the first season in a title race like we are this time, you know how tough it is, man. If you've done RTGs, you know how tough it can be to do that. So yeah, just staying with them for as long as possible is going to be really important. So yeah, Spurs fourth and final game of today's episode here, and the final one of December 2026 as well. Taking on Conte's side here, took the lead in the first half through Matondo heading in the corner, goal number 16 for the season, and a great save by Price, kept it at 1-0 after we hit the woodwork. So still leading by a goal, heading into the break, and then in the second half here, soon after the restart, trying to get ourselves 2 goals up. Great ball by Matondo. Norrington Davis just onside. I gotta be honest, I thought I totally messed this up, but I was thinking about Humphreys before the game. I looked at the stat sheet and I was like, do you know what? Gavin's not been that amazing this year. I want to get him another goal. He's second in 2, and he does get it as well. Almost totally messed it up, but thankfully Gavin's pace shone through there. Final score in South Wales, Newport County 2, Spurs 0. 3 straight clean sheets against 3 big teams and 3 wins as well. There's no doubt about it now. We are an official big boy in the Premier League. We are joining the traditional top 6 as one of the big sides in the country. The question is, can we keep pace with Liverpool? 18 games to go. The gap is still 2. Long way to go. I feel confident 16 points clear of the Gunners will get a top 4 place come the end of the season. The question is, will we finish in the top 4? Can we be champions? Well, that will end today's episode of Common Country, guys. Big thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please drop a like. Most love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for next episode of Common Country, where the January transfer window will open, plus another fixture, the reverse one against Liverpool as well, very soon.